Mike, what is the deal, buddy? What you say, man? What you know no good? What's happening?
This is probably one of your, I would think, one of your less controversial topics / points of view. Like, I don't seem pretty straightforward. I didn't, you know, I was trying to see if the dating seriously and the boyfriend girlfriend were one stage, but them being separate, I can see as well.
Yeah, I think dating exclusively and boyfriend and girlfriend is more of a recent thing that got separated. That's more modern.
Now let me ask you a question. Would you also agree that this same, I mean, these stages, they're gender agnostic, right? Like you like, because, and the reason I ask that is because there's a stage in there where you say a guy would be potentially dating more than one woman, right? Like you can see that this process as it progresses would have potentially more than one person involved, right?
Yeah. So
do you
from acquisition to dating exclusively, you're talking to multiple women, yes.
Right. And would you also agree that the woman in this scenario would also be talking to more than one guy?
I don't think she should, not as many. Because
why?
Mainly because she needs to put in the work to attract this guy that everyone wants.
So at what point so are you saying from a woman's perspective, you're saying that it should be she should be laser focused at starting an acquisition? She should be laser focused at acquisition?
Yeah.
Because like she should not be attempting to, because back in the day, okay, so back in the day, women had suitors. What were those stages, right? Like several dudes are auditioning for the same woman. That was a thing at one point. So what would those stages look like?
To where you're saying like back in the days, to where it was the man going after the woman.
Yeah, like because I don't.
I mean, we're in these steps, we're still going after the woman, but in modern days, right? Because okay, so all right, let's take your scenario. Remember back then, we were a little bit more wholesome than we are now. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Correct.
I mean, I can make that argument. Yeah.
They're back in those days. We had to date you from afar because the parents didn't even know. That girl stayed.
No. At one point, you had to ask the parents.
Correct.
You had to come over and, hey, Mr. Smith, my name's Jimmy. I want to take your dog. Do that dumb shit.
And people were not getting married this late, and
they were getting married like out the gate.
And people prioritize marriage, so that's why in modern dating it's a little different. And so I say that to say this. So to take your point of, well, shouldn't a man be, I guess, laser focused on, or no, the other question was, should a woman be dating more men as well, right, during the acquisition stage? If she's dating 3 men, those 3 men are dating 5 women.
Okay.
So technically, this one woman has 15 women that she's going up against.
Listen,
who has that type of time? How can she give all of these things that a man may require while competing against 15 other women?
Well, I mean, look, you say competing against 15 other women like they doing a decathlon, niggas. Like that.
All right.
like no, she just gotta be.
How many women do you usually
when
talk?
Started off with the job analogy, right? Because that's how I think of relationships, as a job. And the reason I think of them that way is because from my time in corporate America, I can tell you that the competition never ends. right?
Exactly.
So,
That's my point.
but I say everything that I'm saying to say I personally believe that yeah, like I think competition inspires growth and quality. Like I think women should should be dating more than one guy because I also believe that that you stay firmly rooted in reality when that happens.
You think
I
so?
believe that. Yeah, I think you should because all right. So if a woman say some woman has some lofty goals, if she can find 5 guys to date that meet her lofty goals, she should be allowed to have those goals. If you can't find anybody to date that meets your lofty goal, well, that has equal meaning. I think that, but right, like dating like it to me is like any other skill that has to be sharpened and honed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to like there are some people that are just bad at dating. There are some people that are good dating. You have people that are serial daters, right?
And
They're
so
great at the dating part.
stop there. What I in my experience, the women that do date more than one man, something like 2, 3, 4 different dudes, those are your serial daters. With my experience, most women who prioritize marriage don't date 4 different guys at the same time. If you're dating 4, so if we
How
all
do you
know
know
men,
that?
hold on, we all know men want to have sex, correct? You want to have sex with women, Mike, or no? You good?
A lot.
Okay.
Lot.
So men want to have sex. So how is this woman gonna give 4 men what all men want? Is she gonna fuck all 4 of these people?
Listen, don't make
How
me
is
ask
she
you
gonna?
hard
No,
questions on Instagram.
you're gonna
Don't
have
make me
to
ask you hard.
answer. How is she gonna maintain 4 men?
Do you want me to sit here and act like I've never heard of a woman messing with 4 or 5 dudes at the same? You mean to sit here? This is Atlanta for real?
So you met a woman.
I'm also not gonna sit here and say she, was lying that anybody was lining up for, for marrying her. I'm also gonna say and not say that I haven't heard of chicks dating and just playing the field multiple times. You know what I'm saying?
So refer back to stage stage 1 in the stages of dating, which is what?
I didn't write them down. I'm sorry, Professor.
Do your homework, damn it. Funny enough, self-evaluation.
There you go.
That is step 1. So you should have evaluated that I just want to ride the cock carousel till kingdom come. So
okay, I make the argument that when people say I'm dating with a purpose, to me, if you're not maximizing the efficiency of how you date, then you can't really be dating with a purpose. If you give one person 6 months to figure out what they want to do, you get 2 shots at that a year.
No. Now, mind you, there are no time constraints on these stages. So these stages can jump from week to week. Okay?
I mean, that's fair.
You should not be talking to somebody. You should not be in the talking stage with someone for 6 months, correct?
Right, yeah.
Should you be in the dating stage in 6 months?
What comes after dating?
Dating exclusively.
I mean, yeah, that should. I would think that would I would think that would happen before 6 months.
Okay, dating exclusively, 6 months.
Yeah, I would think that would happen before 6 months.
Boyfriend and girlfriend, 6 months.
I mean, yeah. Listen.
Thank you. So you should already be at damn near the last stage in 6 months. That's when you're starting to talk about. Okay, look, Chris, we've been dating for about 6 months now. But prior to that, you should want to know at what time frame does this man want to be married. It shouldn't just be one day. Like I said earlier, he needs to say, you know what, I'm trying to close on this house, or I'm really working hard in med school, or I'm doing this to try to get that. And once I get this, which should be at this time, that is when I'll be prepared to get married. And that woman should either take it from there as, okay, I can deal with that, or no, I'm trying to get married in 6 months, I'm getting the fuck on. So
You
no.
for sure, I can tell you as somebody that's been married, you for sure sound like someone that has not been married. I can tell you that.
Explain.
Because I don't packing marriage onto the end of a series of events that have to take place, and then after that I'll be ready. Like I know from my experience and how my life went now where I am, it is just a listen, I'm ready. I'll be ready to get married when I meet the person that makes me want to marry them.
Correct. No,
right.
that's
I mean,
100.
like it ain't based on
No,
any.
that's 100. But you still need to communicate with that person, because you got to remember you're dealing with how many people.
But it's not a definitive time. It's not a definitive time. You said it needed to be a definitive time.
I may know that, but what I'm saying is you're dealing with two people. What if she has something that she wants to do, or she will be ready to do this, that, and the third once she moves out of her mother's house, once she's actually about to close on the house, or once I close on this house, or whatever. Even if hey, both of y'all might be ready right now. Both of them might be on the same wave that you're on. Hey, I'm ready to get married whenever I found the person that I like. You get what I'm saying? Maybe, but y'all both have to be on the same page, correct? Or at least meet somewhere in the middle.
Generally.
So, but yes, I do understand that, it may sound like a woman has to do all this work, but I am talking to women.
I mean, I get it. Listen, I'm whenever we have these conversations,
I'm trying to give women the best keys of success. Okay, I'm trying to give you the best advice that I can give from a man's perspective to get a man. Now, all of this, well, what's the man supposed to do? And let's go 50-50 and all that other stuff. That's cute for conversation, but this is what you should do if you have laser focus to getting a husband.
Let me real quick pause, because it may matter to some people, but like I try to have the perspective and devil's advocacy that I have, because like whenever we have these conversations, keep in mind, I have a niece that, I mean, you know what I'm saying, she's like 14, and I certain conversations are becoming way more relevant, and I care about a woman's perspective. Right? Like I care about my niece. I know you have a similar perspective that people may not be aware of, but I think for whoever's watching, they'd be interested to know there's two guys talking that have very real interest in how these things work, because they have girls close to them that they really can't have this shit go wrong for.
Absolutely.
So figuring it out is really, really relevant.
No, figuring things out is relevant. You know what else is relevant?
What?
Failing is relevant. So
yeah,
we get that we have to protect the women in our lives, but they're gonna have to go out there, see it for themselves, take the best advice you can. And even with the best advice that you can get, you still may fail.
Right.
I know a wise battle rapper once said, they gonna criticize the form even if the shot perfect. You know what I'm saying? Either way, you can shoot the free throw 100 times and it go in. It might not go in that one time. You shot it the same exact way. So, and that's what we have a lot of out here, is a lot of people are dealing in fear, because what you see for the most part are toxic relationships that are promoted on the TV and entertainment, right? It's rare that you see a feel-good story, or you hear a feel-good story of somebody just married and together in bliss, right? Rare.
Yeah.
You usually see something toxic, people breaking up. Don't get married, bro. It ain't worth it. Girl, don't get married. These niggas try to take your independence. You don't need him. You could do it. You battle by yourself. These niggas ain't doing enough. This, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
I'm not talking to those women. Women who feel like that know it all already. Why would I talk to you? You got it. You got it, girl. You got it. What I need to talk to you for? You got it. You got it, sis.
Stupid.
So you had a story that we wanted to dive into tonight for the congregation, right?
It can be posed as a, well, I don't even know if it's a real. I mean, you can pose the question. I don't even really know how to pose the question.
So the question was, is there a time limit on text backs? It was kind of like a text back type of question.
Right. And but I think we're on the same side of the thing, right? So there's not a, like, I don't believe there's a time limit on text back. What it is that after a certain amount of time, if I get a text message and it's, and I'm seeing for whatever reason I haven't responded in 2-3 hours or whatever, I am not about to assume that person has been like perked and waiting on my response that whole time. Like, I'm assuming their day has moved on. And that was it. That was the only perspective. That was the only.
So yeah, I never believed in texting has a time limit on it. Now I know there may be some things that's respectful, or hey, you may want to have a little bit of courtesy and tell me that you're busy. I don't know. I believe if you're, well, it also depends on what stage you're in. So say you're in the talking stage with this person. If you're in the talking stage with this person, then they don't really have a key card to your time, right? They don't have access like that, right?
Right.
So they're not as important to be texting back right away if you have other things to do. Sorry, ladies, when you're in the talking stage, just like I'm sure we aren't that important either. Okay? Absolutely.
No. So that's why I started off. The first thing I said was that on the other side of this, and that's what I try to do, on the other side, what's my default? Like, if I just haven't, I'm just going to assume like a couple hours gap is a great period on a, you know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't, like,
that is a long time.
I mean, no offense one way or, no feelings about it one way or the other, but just verifying that, hey, like, it would make sense that somebody is now doing something else after several hours.
Correct. Now, I would say this: we are both app babies, right? We have been on the dating apps before, and and we know most people on the dating app don't really follow through a lot. They're very flaky. The most people on the dating app are bad at dating, which is why they went for the last resort of a dating app. So
I mean, but we're on there as well. So does that just mean we're lazy dudes, or that we have the same problem?
Could be a little bit of both.
A mixture.
Could be a mixture of both. At some point, both parties have gotten so fed up with whatever they've been doing, whether they've been doing it right or wrong, they resorted to a dating app.
You know what, though? The last scenario I had where I dated somebody that I met initially in real life, I was so excited. It's like, oh, this never happens, right? Like, it's just always easier to just, meet somebody.
Easier to swipe left, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, but the last one, and I've met people in real life, it just never made it all the way to the stage that this one did. And man, that turned out to be one of the rockiest, most intense situations I've ever been in. Made me run back, bro. What?
It's toxic.
Wow. And part of me thinks that I held on as long as I did because of the fact that we met organically in real life. You know what I mean?
You thought you had more, I don't know.
Thought I had more value, right? Than a right swipe, right?
Okay. I guess. I get the
And
logic, sort of.
listen, I'm a scientist of sorts, right? I try to be as logical and objective as possible in trying to figure this stuff out. I don't know. If I knew, I'd probably not be divorced, and I'd probably be married now.
Yeah. Are you still looking for marriage? Are you dating with a purpose right now?
Am I dating with a purpose? Right? Yeah. What I'll say is that this feels like this could be a rabbit hole that we could go down. I am very much open. I no longer, let me tell you what I don't want. When you deal with computers, a lot of times it's easier to define what you don't want, and then everything else goes through. I don't like wasting my time. I'm not up for just mindless dating and throwing my money away. I'm for sure at the stage in my life, and have been for a while, where anything that I do is an investment, and I'm looking for a return on my investment.
What's the return?
For me, it's like long-term stability, security, those things that guys want out of a relationship. So like, I've actually met somebody, they were awesome. Things didn't work out, but they were awesome, but they weren't interested in ever getting married just because of their view on marriage. I didn't care. As long as I could accomplish all the goals I needed to accomplish, care what you call it, right? There are some people that need to be married. I need what I need. We can call it.
What do, because I don't think you really answered the question. Are you dating for marriage, or yes or no?
Yeah, I'm dating for marriage. If someone tells me let me flip this back to you, because I know you're
in stage one, man. So you're in self-evaluation right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you met somebody and you were dating for marriage, okay, if you say you're dating for marriage, is it because of your view of marriage, or is it because of your view of the dating structure? Like, are you a person that, hey, I have to be married, or are you like, no, like, I don't care what it's called, I need that long-term monogamy with a single person?
And that's the problem right there.
Things.
Everyone has these conflated relationships that they want to be in. They want to be in these custom fit relationships. Like, I don't want to be married, but I want to act like we're married, and I want this, that, and that. So instead of getting the number 7, you want to get the Big Buford, but with no onions, add mushrooms and barbecue sauce. And let me substitute the drink for.
And the only reason this is coming up because of me, if you ask me, yes, I've already been married. This is an easy thing for me. But again, I met someone that I liked, and they weren't interested in getting married. Posed an interesting question to a person who is, yes, dating with the purpose to get married.
And like you just said, that was one of the most intense situations that you've been in, correct?
It wasn't that one. This was a different one.
Okay. How was that situation then?
That one was cool. It just didn't. I can't even really remember how it phased out. You know how you have something that just phase out?
That's how bad it was. If you don't even remember how it ended.
No, let me tell you. I remember the bad ones. I had one that gave me panic attack. I remember the bad ones.
Right. No, I mean,
I remember the bad ones.
Insignificant it was. It was like, because I've been in a situation to where I'm wanting something, the other person doesn't want it, and what you do the Kanye shrug, and you just go along with it. A lot of women do that as well. They want marriage. The guy say, well, shit. They say some conflated shit like you just said. They go for it. You guys date for 3 years. And then she's like, well, damn, I thought I was getting married. Girl, I told you I was going to get married one day. I ain't say I was going to. And then, boom, you break up. And she done wasted 3 years of her life, and you've got it whatever you wanted out of that 3 years.
No, I'm for sure dating to get married again. That's my end goal with dating. When I meet the person, I don't even know that I pose questions to myself about dating in America, if that's sort of the problem. I think a lot of our problems are the environment that we're in. You know what
So
I mean?
you think
Like a lot of our problems, not just dating, but a ton of our problems are, I think, may just be based on the environment that we're in. Like,
so
you know what I'm
you
saying?
think,
I was just going for 2 months, man, and anytime I've traveled and been anywhere else for an extended amount of time, it feels extremely different coming back here.
Mhm.
It is intense, man. Coming back here after being somewhere else for months, it's America.
I had a show about that, about, you know, when men date interracially, or they men who travel out of the country who got a couple stamps on their passport. We've seen a different type of world out there. You know, y'all have been here off of Panola your whole life, and you've never been out there. You have no idea what's out there and the benefits that y'all have in this country.
See, she just said it. I know I'm not supposed to pay attention to comments, but I'm from Europe. I'm from Europe. People are dating differently. You realize how many people I know? I used to train engineers that came over here, and they would try to date here while they were here, and they all hated it. They all fucking hated it every single time. Right. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, part of the problem could just be the fucking ecosystem we're in.
What is the main problem in dating today that you've had? Your personal experience. Obviously, everyone's experience should be at least slightly different.
My biggest problem with dating, man, I think it's cliche, but it's probably going to be at a baseline communication, like just at a baseline. Now that might have manifested in different forms in different situations. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But when you boil it all down, it's all concentrated. I've had the timing one. I've had a couple timing, but lately I would say it's been more communication. I'm very clear on things that I require for my happiness. It is a gift and a curse of my personality, right? Like, I'm like that in all scenarios. I'm very clear about what I'm looking for and what it takes to make me happy.
What are you requiring?
So I'm the kind of person. So my love language, my love languages are physical touch and acts of service. Now, like you said earlier, dudes have an ego. I do have an ego there, but I'm also pessimistic enough to where I'm like, words don't really mean shit. I like actions, acts of service. So that's why I'm, you know what I'm saying? She can say whatever.
You still gotta, you still have an ego that needs to be stroked. If you do something,
I'm not denying that. I'm just talking about my love languages, because again, by default, you say something to me, I'm immediately going to try to pair it with an action, no matter what. That's just my personality. You say something to me, I'm trying to pair it with an action. If I can't immediately pair what you're saying with an action, I know you're full of shit. Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
That's my methodology. So that's why I just kind of lean to acts of service, because you can not say anything, do everything I like, and we're in good standing. Whereas you could say everything that I like, do none of what I like, and where are we?
How many women? I want to kind of touch back on some of the things I was saying, and to see how right I am, because, you know, when I speak, it's from my point of view as a man, but there are men who are different out here, a little too different sometimes. But how many women do you think that you can withstand at a time in the acquisition stage? That's just going out acquiring women, or going on your phone. That's an acquisition as well.
Acquisition stage, the cost at the acquisition stage is mainly time and attention, right? Yep. We haven't gotten into resources like money.
Nope.
The acquisition stage is just time and attention.
Yep.
See, if you're a dude that if you can juggle like that many women, I question your productivity in every other form of your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have stuff going on, man. I ain't got time to be sitting around and cackling with 10 women all day. Like, I just don't. Nor am I interested in it. I'm not trying to keep
How
track
many?
of 10 people's days. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. None of that. So, you know,
Give me a number. How many?
at the acquisition phase, man, I'm still like a 3 to 4.
3 to 4. How about talking?
Yeah.
Next stage, talking.
Talking is still just a requirement of.
Talking.
Are you going on dates?
Talking. You have taken her out on a date at the least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to be down to 3. We got to, when you're like at that early stage of where I'm at early on, possibly similar, is 3.
Yeah.
This is Atlanta.
So hey,
dates are not cheap.
Ladies, you are hearing this from more than one man here. I'm gonna have to have some of my other fellas jump on more frequently so y'all can hear other point of views, not just listen to me and look at my beautiful face all day.
Yuck.
This is serious stuff. You have another man on here telling you that even he, at these stages 1 through 3 and 1 through 4, we're talking to multiple people. Okay.
Oh, is that what you just tricked me into doing? Oh, you jerk. I said, is that what you just tricked me into doing?
Absolutely. So
you jerk.
Once you got down to dating, how many? You're at the next stage, dating. How many are you talking to? You were at 3.
Dating?
You're talking to 3. Now you're dating. This means that these women have your attention now, and they separate themselves from the pack.
At dating?
This is good morning, beautifuls. This
is multiple dates. God. Oh, Jesus. That's man.
Yeah.
It's still my general policy is still gotta be at least 2. It's
two?
Still, yeah, like okay. It's 3 in that stage, because you got to start remembering details. Like you got to remember birthdays and some shit she said last week that's somehow relevant this week.
You got to write the notes in her name and
3 different
stuff you talked about. 3
different schedules, and you can't be mixing messages between. Oh man, listen, man. The
best thing to do is talk about the same exact things with everybody.
Yeah, but see, if you're dealing with some decent women, man, that's hard, man. If you're dealing with top quality women, that's hard. They all ain't thinking about the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk to one about stocks, talk to another one about politics, talk to another one about some tech stuff that happened. Man, do you already hear how thin you're spreading yourself?
That's exactly.
Listen, the ground is fertile. The ground is fertile for a fuck up there, sir. The ground is fertile for a fuck up. That's dude. And we just got to wind it down from there, man.
How has the dating apps been so far?
You mean since I've been back?
Well, since we last talked about dating apps, how's the dating apps been so far? We'll close the show on a little dating app banter.
It was great elsewhere. I got back to Atlanta, and it was
Well, here's a good one. What is the difference? Is it okay if I tell them where you were?
You said where I work?
No, where you were.
Yeah, you could. You could say it. I was in Dominican.
Cool. Hey, just making sure feds ain't watching.
Okay. Hey, listen. They might be.
So
I'm all right with that too.
So, what are some of the main differences between a Dominican woman?
You're an asshole. You're
and a modern day black woman in America. What is the difference?
I didn't date anyone down there too seriously. I said too seriously. Like the same way I've dated women here. You said, have I ever? Is the question, have I ever dated someone internationally? The answer to that question is yes. That just doesn't apply to DR per se.
Okay.
But I can answer your question based on my experience in other places because I know the information that you want.
Correct. So as far as the different women that you've met, at least, you might not have dated them for, let's say, marriage or nothing, but you went out there, you obviously mixed and mingled with women, correct?
Yeah.
You may not have dated them because you're only there for, 2 weeks or a week or
Right.
whatever. But
a couple months.
Yeah,
so
exactly. A couple months. So exactly.
Dated.
So,
Well, how much dating you can do in a couple months?
So
I've had
as
some
far
situations persist throughout the year. So.
Yeah. So as far as that, what is some of the main differences between the two?
Well, to be honest with you, what I've now realized is that Western is Western.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that now more than ever. Believe it or not, DR has become more Western. It's still a lot more of the traditional way men are treated, but it's become more Western. But contrast that to me dating in the Philippines. The term that I like to use that she really enjoyed was that she was extremely cooperative.
I love the word cooperative. I met a lot of women who hate it for some odd reason.
I don't know who can hate someone that's cooperative. Yeah, that's a little bit like I was at the store today, and the lady, they asked the question if you want to donate money, and the way they asked us, "Hey, would you like to save a child today?"
Yep. Can't really say no to that, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. Like, no.
Right. It's a really messed up way to ask somebody something like that. It's one of those things.
Precarious position there.
Listen, man.
So do you think that are they more pleasant? Are they more rude? Do they treat you a little differently? I mean,
Western dating styles tend to be more aggressive, more one-sided. That's what it feels like. Something that sticks out big in my head is the girl that said that she was from Europe. I was in Amsterdam, and a black woman in Amsterdam is a person that taught me how to roll.
Okay.
I roll great, by the way. But we went out one time, and she just kept buying me drinks, and it was freaking me out. And I was kind of like, nah, you know how we, nah, I got this. And she kind of like grabbed my hand at one point. And she was like, hey, what is this? And I was like, I had to articulate that I wasn't used to or comfortable with a woman literally fun. You know what I'm saying? Like it was weird, especially because we don't know each other like that.
It made you feel slightly uncomfortable, right? Like, oh.
Yes, for real, legit uncomfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like
a little bit.
You're just not used to it.
Right. And she told me, and we had a conversation about it, and she was like, yeah, that's one of those toxic things about Western dating. And I kind of just had to forfeit that one and let her fund my evening.
And it's strange because, I mean, mind you, I don't have any statistics, but would you say that American women are the richest women in the world? That's
hard. I don't know.
I think so.
Because of the huge disparity.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, so watch this. I mean, I don't know because like everybody in Qatar works for the state of Qatar. Qatar, however you say it, Qatar. The women, what do they make? I have no idea. Are they like? I have no idea about any of that. I don't want to just make huge ass. Oh, women in America, the richest women. I don't want to just make giant assumptions like that. Because women in America, man, I look at some of the salaries. No bueno, man.
No bueno?
Man, it's not great. Not compared to, well, I guess white men. It's for sure not great. It's terrible compared to everybody, but specifically compared to white men.
Yeah. I would like to know. I'm gonna do some research on that and see exactly.
It's worth it.
Looks like the U.S. in general is number 7 as far as per capita of the richest countries in the world, just in general.
America's financial position is not what people assume it is. The people that just say, America's the richest country in the world. Look up the list.
Most people say it's the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, well, that's subjective. So that's not really. But I've seen on the news where they say America's the richest country in the world. But then people get to play with the word richest. Oh, we have more assets. It doesn't have to be all liquid. Like, it's
a lot of debt too.
Lots of it. If America was a person, you would have been arrested and thrown in jail already.
Yeah, we'd be in jail.
Right.
So what's the dating apps that you're currently on now? What's the dating apps out here in these streets?
Tinder, Bumble, Hinge still does that weird thing where it's like all the worst possible matches we can find here.
Yeah, your Hinge
bananas
was terrible, dog.
Terrible. I'm about to have to go mobile here in a second. I got to make a run.
Yeah, you know how it has the most female billionaires. And there you go. So I mean, I want to know collectively.
But listen, there's no female U.S. billionaire that is listening to this and needing help and needing your help dating.
Definitely, ma'am. If you're a billionaire, you do not need my help. You should be able to buy whatever man you want.
And if you do, DM him your phone number. And he'll take care of that personally.
Hey, no way, no billionaire needs some help with finding a man. If that's the case,
I mean.
Well, you know what? Yes, I will say this. Yes, a billionaire could have issues finding a man that she would respect, because how many billionaire men are there? So Mike then dropped off. Who knows? That's a good question though. So yeah, so if the United States has the richest women in the world, is that y'all problem? Do y'all got too much money? Are y'all too rich? That could be the point. That could be the part. Y'all might be too rich over on this side. Mike dropped off. Y'all could be too rich on this side to where you technically do not need a man, to where in other countries they see more value in a man than only physical, only money. They need security from other men trying to do something to them as well. But anyway, we lost Mike. It was a good show. I hope that y'all enjoyed the stages of dating. Make sure you refer back to these stages of dating because they are going to be beneficial to you. You need to learn how men think, because no matter what you want in a man, if he don't want whatever you have, you ain't gonna get him. You are not. If you don't have to sell what he wants to buy, you gonna be in the house with a gang of product. You hear me? Anyway, you have been tuned into the Chris Hall Show. I appreciate all of y'all for coming into the live. Catch this on YouTube. Subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at ChrisHallATL. Hit the link in the bio. Go to the YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified with every single time I drop content like this. You hear me? We out.